I'm here to present on the causes of conflict between the various communities affected by mining activities in the mining company. Extractive resource developments are intensive activities that bring significant economic, social, and environmental change. These development, that is in the form of exploration and processing activities, have the potential to bring social, economic, and even environmental change to the society. And this can be in the form of the conversion of the natural resource, that's the ore that is discovered or the deposit that the mine has in mind to exploit. So you convert this natural resource into a financial resource, and then you invest the resource into social and environmental programs. Then finally, you develop the social capabilities, the skills, infrastructure, and businesses. Mining development creates new communities. That is, should a mining company come around, there will be a new community that will be created because people would move there, the miners will come with their families, and other communities too will be created as a result of that. And the already existing community would experience like a growth in their financial needs. That means there will be wealth, wealth to be introduced for the already existing communities. The normal thing is when a mining company is coming to your community, there's this excitement that once they are in, there will be jobs, there will be schools, benefits from corporate social responsibilities. But the whole thing starts with this joy, so there's a good cohesion between the companies and then the community. But then with time, that bond breaks, and the reason why the bond breaks can be attributed to the community's undying request from the company. That is, they always go to the company, today we need this, tomorrow we need that. And with time, the mining company gets stuck in this cycle of paternalism where they throw money at problems when and they come, like as to when they come. So when the problem comes, the mining company just gives them the money, thinking that will solve it. But then one thing the mining companies fail to realize, or let me say the extractive sector fails to realize, is the communities they are dealing with comes in different forms. There are different kinds of communities, and as such, you can't use one solution to solve different problems arising from different communities. So that means you are supposed to think about heterogeneous ways of solving these problems. For the purpose of this paper, I considered 3 kinds of communities that the sector is likely to face during exploration or during, let's say, exploration of the ore. We have the occupational community, the residential community, and the indigenous community. The occupational community is the community that is the created one. They are the ones that benefit fully or partially on the mining activities. So these communities hardly give the mining companies a problem because they are dependent on them for income, or partially. They can be fully or partially. But then this occupational community, because of all the benefits they are getting, they hardly give a problem to the company. But then for the residential and indigenous, from research and analysis of data, I realized that they can cause serious threats to the smooth operation of the mining activities. The residential community. The residential community is the community that is located within the geographical area of the mine. They can be close to the mine, that is close proximity, or they can be far away from the mine. They are usually around the catchment areas of the mine. And these communities can come in 2 forms. They can be the ones that were already there before the mine came into existence, or the ones that were created as a result of the mining activity that is taking place. And the indigenous community. The indigenous community, I'll say, is a very special community because they have this ancient and strong cultural ties with the land. Their issue is not about the benefits that come with mining, but then their issue is about my land. You've come for my land. And they have this spiritual attachment to the land. It's like I was in Kekam, somewhere in Western region, and I realized there are special places where they pour libation. I'm not against it though. They pour libation and all that. But you should, imagine a community like that. You have something like that, and then one day a mining company comes that, well, we found gold here, so you guys will have to evacuate. You can imagine how they will feel. They can't take that portion of the land along with them to the new place. So these people are usually affected when mining companies come around, and their solution is usually not money. Looking at what I have here, they have this distinctive systems of decision making. They have a way of doing their things, and it's not just they want, like it's a hierarchy, something that is moved from one generation to another. Like you can't just start it from anywhere. So the indigenous community is, and in most countries, because they hardly take money into consideration, they are usually the poorest and marginalized in the society, and as such they will have to be treated with great respect. So as I said earlier on, the mining company comes, there's joy, there's happiness, there's everything. But then with time, the people realize that what we expected is not happening that way. They expected once the company comes, they wake up one morning and there's a school building, there's a hospital. It doesn't work that way. And people start thinking that the mining company is spending their money because it's their land. So they begin to suspect that there's unfair distribution of revenue. The communities have this idea that you've come to my land, so I have to benefit with you equally. This is mine, it's yours. If you are getting 100%, I should see 50% happening in my community, and you can take the rest of the 50. So when they start suspecting this, the youth in the community start causing problems. And as I said about the land, yes, they feel their lands have been taken. Their lands is everything they have. Like land is something you can't move. It's everything. Their culture, our forefathers lived here, they built this house. So once you come for it, that's it. And then in the case where there's resettlement, which mostly the mining companies do, once they come and they move you, they give you a new place, a settlement area, you live there. But then the thing is, there are times that these companies, the settlement areas are close to where mining operations are taking place. That means the people will be exposed to dust. And in Takwa, there are some areas that those who have been there can bear witness. The dust, there are some dusty areas. So the people living there feel that if I'm breathing in all this dust, enjoying all this contamination, then I deserve some amount of money, I deserve something better than what they are getting. And for the indigenous community, as I said earlier, they are a special group. And for them, once they are going through all this, then you come, and sometimes they're moving to a resettlement area is not voluntary. So once it's involuntary, the indigenous community become very offended. So for them, once you've moved them and it wasn't a willing something, they will give you problems. So the mining company is supposed to know that such a community, when they come with their issues, you don't just throw money at them thinking to be solved. Because already for some of them, you've moved them from where their ancestors lived, and something like that can. When the resettlement takes place and people are moved to the communities, the old community is this community where like they don't really take, it's like a normal community. But in the new place they are going to, imagine someone who has lived in a rural area, then all of a sudden you take a person to a house well finished with so many facilities that they don't have any idea how to use it. There are lawns in front of some of the houses. They don't know how to use the mowing machine. There are stuff inside the house, they can't operate it. They don't have the resources, they don't have the skills to operate them. Such people do not feel, they don't feel appreciated. So you've given me a house, but then they feel they are okay with maybe the clay pots they were using. How can someone like that feel appreciated that, oh, you've given me a house well finished? No. So there's they are dissatisfied. Yes, there's this dissatisfaction amongst the indigenous and the residential in some cases. Yes, and as I said, the movement leads to increase in population. Somewhere 1990 in Porgera, Papua New Guinea. In 1990, a mining company came to Porgera, decided to move them to a new place. There were 4,000 then in 1990, and as at 1999, the number didn't just duplicate; it went to 18,000. So from 4,000 to 18,000, even if the company built, let's say, 6,000 houses, down the 18,000 people that are there because they are exposed to all the dangers that comes with mining, they expect to get returns from the mining activity, even though the mining company did not arrange for 18,000. They made arrangements for 4,000. But then within the next 9 years, should the mining life not come to an end around that time, they will still be there expecting. Now these 18,000 people will be expecting jobs from the company, but then the company will not have that much to be able to contain all those people. So jobs will become a problem, and because jobs becomes a problem, there's likely to be high standard of living, and then disruption of local cultures, as I spoke about, the whole distancing from the spiritual ties that the indigenous has with their ancestors, and then exposure to alcohol. I'm not saying that mining companies brings that. There are cases where it's already there, but then the mining company improves upon it, or let me say promotes it. Yes, that's the word. Promotes it, because the mining company wants to make the miners there very comfortable, but then the residential communities that are there will not be prevented from enjoying the facilities that we made. For instance, if the mining company decides to build a restaurant with other staffs inclusive, the residential community and sometimes even the indigenous communities can try to go there. And once they're exposed to the alcohol and they are not so they don't have that much access initially, they will enjoy the opportunity and just be drinking. And in Pogera, as I did read about Pogera a lot, tribal fighting was something that was already there. But when the mining company came, it became something that was done more often, because the miners are willing to pay to watch them do it, and they were willing to do it. So in such a case, mining has improved upon or has promoted violence in that community. And women, Dr. Boy and Madam Vance have done a lot on women. Women, as she said, 6.9% in the whole mining environment, and women are more than men in this world. And I don't know, the mining company is not so welcoming towards ladies, and we are the ones that are more than the men, but then all we get is to be the husbands of handsome miners, as he said. But then we want more than that. We want more than that. We want to work at the underground mines in Anglo Gold and all that. So all these things will cause problems in their community, because the women are not benefiting, they are just being husbands, and we are expecting more. In UMaT, women are schooling in engineering, we are coming out, we expect that there will be job opportunities. But then even the people that are close to the mining companies, as the residential and the indigenous, are not even benefiting. So how much more us? And finally, what can be done about all this? So in conclusion, I think maximization of the contribution. I feel, should an indigenous person, I know they are special, but then should he come out of his house and there's a good road that is leading to a good hospital or a good school, even though he would miss the gods and everything, he would not. He can't use the excuse that initially when I was at my old community, should I be sick, I'll go to one of the gods or something. But then at least the good road alone, leading to a good hospital, would make him feel at least compensated. At least, yes, he would feel compensated, and then the benefits should be shared. The mining company just didn't come to give them a temporary job, which happens in most cases, by something that is extensive. If a mining company comes and feels that, oh, I've given a couple of women in the society catering services, yes, for some time it will be good, but then after some time the number wouldn't be as, because once the mine life comes to an end, the miners and everyone will be leaving. But then if you give them production agencies where even after the life of the mine has come to an end, they can still benefit from it, I think it would really help. And then finally, the cultural sensitivity and relevance. I believe that sometimes the mining companies should get close to the people and ask them that, what would you want? So that the person can say, oh, they will bring ideas, as in the community will bring ideas, then the mine can take the best one. I know Golden Star does that. And I feel instead of the company sitting down and looking at the community that, oh, I think this community, they will need a library, then you just build it. Sometimes you think you've done that, but then the community doesn't feel appreciated. So I think the mines, the older, or let me say the leaders in the mining communities should sometimes come down and ask the people so that they bring ideas. Then out of the ideas you can choose one, the best one. That way when you build, if maybe they come and they say they want a secondary school or something, you know that they know that this is what we wanted, and it was also majority that the company built this. So at least they will feel satisfied and appreciated. Thank you.
Interesting session again, and Dr. Mponsa, he took us through the dynamics of business activities in the sector, the journey of mining business in Ghana, taking us all the way back to Lonro. You know, it was interesting listening to how the role of the government and the role of multinationals, and for us all to realize that it is really all of us coming to the table to make it work. Another thing that I also took away from Dr. Mponsa was the importance of negotiation skills, and it seems to me that a lot of the time that is where we, the host countries or the people with the natural resources, we tend to lack the negotiation skills, and so we don't come up with the very best plans for our contracts. I was also very impressed with the research work presented by Sylvester for Bright. It's important that we continue to research into better methods of and innovations as well. So I was very interested in his presentation, and the only thing that I had wanted to find out was when UMaT, when the students do the research, what is the collaboration, what happens afterwards, whether they have the chance to go back to these institutions or the organizations where they took the samples from to go and share their knowledge and, you know, have an impact on the work. That's one thing that I'm hoping that, you know, they are able to do that. And I think that it should get to a point where students' research work should be able to earn them some money for the schools and for the students.
That's important.
For their lecturers and the schools as well. So I think, you know, well done again to the team. And once again, Linda, social license is so huge now. The social license to operate in any business that you're doing, and even more in natural resources. The social license is key. And so, Linda, it's a very important project that you've presented, and I hope that you have taken the comments that has been presented to you in good faith. Add some more hard finance. I mean, there's a lot going on here. Goldfields, all of them. There's a lot going on, especially with the Mineral Development Fund that now we have. There's a bit of district level involvement as well in what happens in the communities. So it's really not just mining companies making the decisions. It's really an all-inclusive negotiation. Well done, Linda. Well done, Sylvester. And thank you, everybody, for staying till this last session, because the last time I was at ECOMOF, by 3 p.m., everybody had left. Well done, and we've done very well. Thank you, WAIC.
Yes, thank you, Madam Vance, Lily, and Sylvester.